Hello to all spiritual Tamil viewers. I am RK Guru. This is why Zen haiku is so prevalent in the poetry circle. I mean, there are a lot of people here who write poetry without understanding Zen haiku in a genius way. Basho is a Japanese Zen poet who wrote the wonderful Zen haiku. His haiku would be a contradictory haiku. It is not fully understood by those who read it. Because genius can only be understood by those who absorb it. Basho's haiku poems are more if you search on Google. We find it a little difficult to understand. It would be a highly contradictory haiku poem. It may be a word with a symbol, but it says the whole essence. Someone asks the Zen master, "What is Zen? What is its purpose?" To that the Zen master put down the bundle he was carrying on his shoulder. Unsure of what he was doing, I asked him, "What is Zen? What is its purpose?" But he is lifting the bundle and putting it down. Then he put the bundle on his shoulder and started walking. That is, Zen does not give us a direct explanation. We must understand it only by doing it. Zen means vipassana meditation in Buddhism. It is the most famous meditation of the Buddha. There is a very close connection between that meditation and Zen. Zen is observable from a functional point of view. I mean, there will be the object you are looking at, and there will be a third observation beyond this. You will do one job, but there will be another that will take care of both. This is a dimension. Let's say a triangle. How can this be said, if the Zen master would say to his chief disciples, "You work"? When they ask about Zen master will give the disciples a shovel and say, "Don't dig holes." The disciples continue to dig the abyss. Then when the disciples say, "I have dug the abyss," the Zen master will say, "Cover the abyss with earth." Those who have seen this and those who have done that work know what Zen master said is crazy. We will think, "What? This Zen master is stupid." But Zen is a process. It is Zen that gives that action creation its uniqueness. Each of us works and that process happens. We are there to function, but functionality is elsewhere. We eat, but when we eat that food we do not fully realize the nature of the taste of the food and eat it. When we take food with our hands and put it in our mouth, our thinking is in a different place. This is the problem here. When an apple is eaten, it does not absorb the wholeness of the apple. Those three. That is apple, you and the third care. Genetics is the combination of those three. Some more explanations can be given for this. Zen is the point where the power of the mind and the power of God come together. December is the coldest month outside. There was a fire outside. Do we not feel the warmth of the cold as we approach the fire? There is a lot of fire, but that fireplace. We are not going but going away from the fire. There is a center between fire and cold, isn't there? Can't we feel that center? It's a small child's warmth center. Do not go near the fireplace. Do not leave the fire. Can't we feel that center? Can't we see that warmth? Zen is only if we experience that. That means the sun is going to come in the morning and the darkness that was there until then is going away. Isn't there a gem between the coming of the sun and the disappearance of darkness? That is the Brahma Muhurtam, as it is said among the Hindus. Prayers will be held in the mosque at that time, prayers will be held in the church, prayers will be held in the temple, and worship will be held in everything. Meditation is all about being better at that time. All of the auspicious things. It only happens at that time. That is what is called Brahma Muhurtam in Hindi. It was between 5 and 6 in the morning, a few hours before the sun came up. It is not day, it is not night. This page is neither dark nor day as well as sunset work. It is getting darker and darker. It is a neutral, positive energy. Being in the middle of darkness and light. That is biology. That is the spring of life. If we can understand that nature, then we can know the nature of Zen. That's it. Can't you understand the meaning of the word hunger when I say sleep? Can't you understand the meaning of the word sleep beyond the word sleep? Zen character is the experience that occurs when that emotion mixes with our lives. That is what the Buddha says, vipassana meditation. If you are walking, focus only on the walk and do not think of any other walks. If you are going down the stairs, walk with full focus on walking up the stairs. If you are eating, pay full attention to the food. If you are taking a bath, feel the coolness of the water and take a bath. Just feel it. There will be movement if any action is taken with full focus on that action. That is the duty. When the work of that work is completed, the corresponding benefit with the material for that work will automatically come to you. That is what the Buddha says, vipassana meditation. It is, do not cling to the lotus leaf like water. It's a warm-up. It will not leave the fire. This is the implication. This is what we need to understand. We can say a few more special things when talking about genitals like this. Someone comes to Zen master and asks, tell me about Zen. That Zen master closes his eyes and is silent. I ask, you did not answer anything? He opens his eyes and looks at him. Again the master did not say a word. Again he asks, tell me about jhana. He then gently writes meditation in the sand and shows up. And yet he asks, if I ask you about Zen, you are writing meditation. Again, the Zen master destroys it and writes it in large meditation. Now again he asks, tell Zen. Now the master destroys what he has written and says, you must understand it when I close my eyes and remain silent. The second time I open my eyes after you hear it again, you must have understood when I opened my eyes and just looked at you. Next I wrote and showed you meditation and you must understand that too. If you do not understand that, then I wrote the word meditation in large letters. You do not understand that. When you do not understand all this, it is useless to explain to you about Zen. That is, Zen is a word without words. It cannot be said in words. It is effortless effort. Words are what children who do not understand need. Now children in the unknown age do not need the word. Pictures are important to those children. It does not need the word mango. The first familiarity is to show the picture of the mango, but to show the taste of the mango before showing the picture. Then the mango should show the image. The child will feel the feeling of we have already eaten this. That picture will make that child feel. Next we need to introduce the word mango. Zen gives it a mango-like taste. It didn't even give a word. Those who feel the taste do not necessarily need to hear and know about the words. There are 32 divisions in Buddhism. Section 32 has two most important sections. One of them is Hinahinam and the other is Mayahinam. Hinahinam means without any major worship of the Buddha, it would be a single boat. Then they will go alone. No one, nowhere will say any sermon. Simply be quiet with a tight integration. The Hinayana section is located in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam and elsewhere. There are also Hinayana sects in China. The Mahayana faction includes Japan, North Korea, South Korea, China and Malaysia. The Mahayana division is like a Noah's Ark that can carry everyone. Do not leave anyone alone anywhere. Saying wisdom is something that everyone can achieve together, Everyone can go together. Bodhidharma belongs to the Mahayana sect. Bodhidharma was the one who brought Zen all over the world. Once the Buddha was carrying a lotus in his hand when he came to preach. Then he sat down and looked at the lotus. Then all the disciples said to him, "If you think you will speak, you are looking at the lotus." The Buddha was simply looking at the lotus. This is a primary disciple of the Buddha called Mahakassapa. He was sitting under a tree and smiling at the Buddha's deed. While he is smiling, all the disciples ask, "What Buddha, you are looking at the lotus, but we are asking the question, but Mahakassapa is smiling." "Ask him the meaning of that laugh," says the Buddha. "That where Zen is exchanged." Osho mentions, in Buddhism, why did the Buddha look at that flower? That even those who fully understand the Buddhist doctrine and rule of law, which fully understands Buddhist doctrine and destiny, cannot explain it. Why was he looking at the flower? Because into that flower, there was a witness in the middle of him. That flower is not there, that image of Buddha is not there. But there was only one view of the place. The object of the lotus was then the Buddha, but there was another observer. Both were under sight and the other was watching. That is witness and divinity. When you are constantly looking at meditation, they will call it prana. While the prana is observing the thoughts of the mind in meditation, another observes it as a third dimension, expanding. They will call it witnessing. It is the divinity that observes the thoughts and that prana. It is that genius that bears witness. Didn't I say before that it's a warmth, that warmth, that warmth, that warmth, that coldness? The two are together. That is what we call positive and neutral energy. Darkness and light mingled. It neither approaches nor departs. That is why it is said, "Do not cling to the lotus leaf like water." In our view, it looks like water is sticking to the lotus leaf, but it is not sticking. This is a code. Water does not stick to the lotus leaf. Zen words. We simply say the word Zen without any understanding of it. We can understand the nature of Zen if we understand all of this word, all of that chatter. I can only explain the nature of Zen because I feel it. Because I have been traveling in spiritual training for 20 years. I am a disciple of Osho. So I can understand and feel the nature of Zen. One who has attained a particular Anjana chakra of Kundalini. Those who have attained that state can understand the nature of Zen and its intuitive nature. It can be said and explained. I mean, Zen vision is something. In my view, it's like looking at you, but that look is not looking at you. Doesn't their mind see through your vision? Many thoughts arise in you when they see you. When you see a person you do not like, then you see them with your eyes, but in your mind the thoughts of, what harm did they do to you before, what they said with the wrong words are running through your mind. But as a Zen teacher, the followers of Zen will also be watching the thoughts running through that mind. They will observe those thoughts, observe the mind, be witnessed, and observe in another dimension. There will be no connection between that and this. Thoughts flow inside you when you see them. You see, but they are also paying attention to those thoughts. If a Zen follower worships you, he sees himself within you. Worship can mean I saw me in you. Then a perfection will prevail there. That would be love. There will be no resistance. Even if the enemy strikes, it will have the meaning of the word Jesus said, if you slap one cheek, show the other cheek. If a father kicks a child, the father will not regret it because the son will fall in love with him thinking he is his son, he is his own image. This is how a grown person, Zen's followers, will think of you as a child there if you hit or scold them. They will look like that. Then if slapped on one cheek they will show another cheek while smiling. This is generosity. Jesus was, in fact, a Zen monk. That is why Zen master referred to Jesus as the Buddha in return. That is the essence of the word. This is why we say, I do not want to be burdened with its essence alone. It is on this basis that we must understand. Now I see a Zen vision. Can you understand? Look at that. I mean, I look at the camera and talk, but it's like you look at me, but I look at myself inside, and I look at my speech. I also notice that action is going on within me. The camera is an object, I am the living entity, but observation runs third. This is a dimension, triangle, which is why we see the triangle as an important symbol in all religions. How many more wonderful things can be said about Zen? It talk that speaks to naturalness. Zen is speaking naturally without any forethought. When it comes to an artificial nature that transcends nature, we call it self-consciousness. Am I speaking correctly? Can others who hear understand? If a thought comes to that inside, it is to leave Zen and go outside. There will come an artificiality. There is a difference between a flowering rose and an artificially made rose, isn't it? It will remain the same for many years but is artificially created by looking at nature. Artificial is not originality. Zen is natural. Did you not see that naturalness unfolding and creating an artificial? There will be no current in it, there will be no blossom. How can we force a child to laugh? It has no laughter. It should be spontaneous laughter. That's what we call Zen. This is the Zen that speaks to nature. Didn't you see I said that warmth? That warmth is Zen. So how many more things can we talk about and keep talking about? We never know when the time will go. Talk as much as you want. So I put this video on the playlist. I'm sure we can talk about Jenna from now on. This is a long cinematography. Ask him out well if he is no longer absorbed in the connection. Subject to my experiences, I say things based on what I have read and what my pastors have told me. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Share this video in your circle of friends with people who know about Zen. Let's talk about Zen again. Thank you and goodbye.